Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke is made possible by our guests and tax-deductible donations from friends and listeners like you. Join us in empowering stroke survivors with stories of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope at www.beyondstillness.org.
Throughout the next couple weeks on Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke, we celebrate Thanksgiving with, well, thanks. We begin with a few reflective moments, questions to start our own gratitude generators, calling to mind people, situations, even our own bodies for which we are thankful. Then, we share voices from 3 survivor support groups: River Bend Stroke Survivor and Caregiver Group, Stroke Awareness Oregon's Stroke Warrior Support Group, and Providence Brain and Spine Institute's Life After Stroke community. Join us for the Thanksgiving special of Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke. Hello and welcome to Beyond Stillness. Stroke offers a powerful, life-changing shift in perspective. Each colorful memory creates a parable for life's greater teachings, a compass for journeys ahead, and inspired wisdom for unique growth. This radio show, Beyond Stillness, offers an hour of pause for storytelling and reflection. Ultimately, Beyond Stillness is a welcoming environment that reveres the moment beyond stroke's paralysis. Still moments unite humanity and divinity. I'm your host, Molly Bucola. This week on Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke, we celebrate Thanksgiving with thanks. In part 1, we began with a few reflective moments, questions to start our own gratitude generators. Now, in part 2, we'll hear voices from River Bend Stroke Survivor and Caregiver Support Group and Stroke Awareness Oregon's Stroke Warrior Support Group. Thank you for joining us for part 2, Thanksgiving Special Survivor Reflections. I'm thankful that each of these support groups created time and space for this Thanksgiving meditation and are willing to share their reflections publicly with us as a way to invite us, the listeners, into our own minds, our own hearts, our own lives, as a way to generate gratitude that hopefully will spread throughout the world. And now, voices of our fellow stroke survivors.
Been thankful for is this group and other groups as well. Initially, like anybody that's gone through something like this is just feeling alone or not feeling understood, what you're going through, and being able to find that common ground with fellow survivors and warriors has really been beneficial to me. I don't feel like I need to explain things, and there's that common ground, and I really look forward to these meetings and getting together, because I was somebody who I never knew anybody that had a stroke. And this really opened up my eyes on this community, and how the impacts, and I'm still relatively only been a few months, so I've learned a lot. So I'm very thankful, and oftentimes I don't talk during these meetings because I'm still absorbing. So I'm really here to very thankful to hear your stories, what's been successful for you, those challenges, those shared challenges that I have. So when I hear those challenges and those successes, it helps me remember to celebrate and not get locked into what I can't do. Because the first couple of months I was definitely I can't do this, and really helping me change the way that I see things and I think. And I really got that from this group, and from other groups, because of your experiences and what you've gone through to get where you're at. And thank you very much.
I have learned a lot from having a stroke. I'm in a few days coming up to my 5th anniversary of having a stroke on Thanksgiving Day of 2018. And I'm thankful to be here. I thank God every day. My association with God and Christianity, I think, has helped me a lot. And I have friends that have helped me more than I can imagine. My friend whom I worked with as a contractor for many years picked me up at my house and drove me to the hospital, and then took me from Cottage Grove Hospital to the Riverbend, where they incarcerated me for a week. And it was a good time. It wasn't especially a good time for me at that point, but it was a good learning experience, never having been in a hospital before. I always just took my friends to hospitals, but I was seeing it from the inside for once. And I had wonderful people taking care of me. I had some rehabilitation people helping me to walk again and try to learn how to balance. These things were a new notion to me. I had lost the ability to, I would say my mind's eye blinked and it didn't unblink. I would put my hand behind me and it was gone. I didn't have any feeling for where it was in space. Anyway, that has improved a bit over the years. And my caregiver on my way out of the hospital, she took care of my dog, whom I had abandoned, of course, for a week. And she put me up for 3 months and was really helpful. I'm especially thankful to her. I was, after my stroke, I felt a lot of anxiety. I think probably loss of control. My body had defied me, shall we say. And with the help from the compassionate people at Cascade Health and a little medication, I've come to a little better equality with my situation, and I'm thankful to be here. Anyway, I think after the stroke, more than anything else, I've gained compassion. I've seen things from the inside rather than from the outside. I'm not nearly as objective as I used to be. I'm involved with a number of organizations here in Cottage Grove, which include the Grange, and I'm a member of a amateur radio group in Cottage Grove, and I attend a CERT class that we have, which is Community Emergency Response Teams, and I'm a member of the 912 group that meets a couple of times a month. There are people that are dedicated to trying to remember what it was like after 9/11, which is when the country decided to kind of come together. And my caregiver who took me in for 3 months after my stroke, I talk to her at least twice a day on the telephone. We do a proof of life thing in the morning and in the evening. And it's a touchstone that I really rely on. It helps me quite a bit. So I'm truly thankful for that on an ongoing basis. I'm just really happy to be here.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
You bet.
Absolutely.
So I am eternally grateful to my kids. It's my daughter and her husband, and also to my grandchildren, who I adore. And they are my joy. They make happiness in my heart. And they're, I would say, one of the reasons I continue to live.
Thank you, Monica.
Way too many things to talk about, so I kept it to a couple. So who was I grateful for? And honestly, what it first came to mind was it took me about 7 months after my stroke to realize that there might be something of a support group out there of some kind. I was in Fort Collins, Colorado, found it there. Unfortunately, 2 meetings in, it went to virtual, which was okay, but not as successful as this has become because it was new. But yeah, I was never much of a joiner. So having something that I was participating in, experiencing other people who were in the same boat, and primarily what I got a lot from it and still do was other people's experiences, what they, as Deborah just explained, have gained from their strokes or have learned from their strokes. And then to see, especially when we were meeting in person, I have to confess, people were a month to 20 years out. And, the guy who walks in who's 20 years out, you're looking at him going, okay, if I hadn't had a stroke, I wouldn't notice that he's limping a little bit. But, wow. And they would talk about how much progress they wrestled to get. The term that came up in Fort Collins was it goes from progress to glacial progress. Which is kind of how I view it. It's always a little better, but wow, it's slow. And then as far as a personal thing is just, again, Deborah's was very good, but also way more perseverance on my part than I would have given myself credit if you had asked me before the stroke. Yeah. How do you think you'll handle that? Oh man, not well at all. Turns out, yep, we all hold up better than we would have given ourselves thought for.
Thank you, John. Ralph.
I have to agree with Deborah here a bit. In 2001, I had VTAC. And I saw the light in the tunnel 3 times that year. And that changed my life. But 14 years later, I think I'd become complacent in my glory for life. And I'm grateful I had the stroke. I don't think I've ever told anybody this. I'm grateful I had that stroke because it really changed my life. It destroyed it. And because of my upbringing, my athletic background, my family background, I fought it. I fought like a Tasmanian devil. I never expected to be that destroyed in my life, but because of the people in my family, my grandchildren, stroke, and moving up here to Bend, and there's one person in here that doesn't like me to talk about her, but because of what she's done for me, my life has changed. And my daughter just told me recently, Ralph, Dad, you're better than you've ever been. So I'm grateful for the people in here. I'm grateful for Stroke Awareness Oregon. And that serendipitous moment was Jim Patterson at the walkathon last October that said to me, Ralph, that voice, you can put me to sleep, when I first met him. And I said, is that a compliment? He said, no, we can do voiceovers and stuff like that. Then he came up with this radio server company that we can start and do education, motivation, and support. We talked about mini telethons for SAO, all kinds of stuff. And because of that moment, my life changed again. Every day I get new changes that make my life better. And because it makes my life better, I have to give it away so somebody else's life can be better too.
Thank you, Ralph.
Hi, warriors. Michelle Humphrey, Stroke Mom here. I had a bomb stroke at age 43 while I was pregnant in 2013. It's Thanksgiving time, and all year I've been making top 10s of the things I gained from my stroke, like this. Top dozen life lessons that I learned. I earned, I should say. Okay, number 1, everything changed from I have to I get to. Example. It used to be I have to go to the dentist, and now it's I get to go to the dentist. Number 2, this one, I won't bore you with the whole story, but I was in Shirley Ryan Ability Lab from January to May of that year. There was one day I had some bad stuff happen, but however, the woman in the room next to me actually was having a worse day. Read between the lines there if you can. Trust me, she would have traded places with my crappy situation immediately. That made me stop and think. Number 3, you only have 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, 86,400 seconds in a day. Use it smartly. They say your life flashes before your eyes when you die, but what happened to me is that I saw a slideshow of each of the 1 year and 364 days prior, which was the life of my remaining son. As a stay-at-home mom, I realized there literally was no more time for me. I had to make the most of each and every second. Tomorrow was not promised. Number 4, you're stronger than you think. Trust me, you are. I sincerely hope you never have to put that to the test, but if you do, please remember that I said this and that I believe in you. Number 5, know yourself and listen to your gut and body. And be your own best advocate no matter who you piss off. You're number 1. For example, I went to the hospital twice because my body was telling me that I was messed up, and twice I was sent home as fixed, which I put in quotes.
I guess I would like to go next and say that in thinking about it, I mean, there's so many people to be thankful for when you've been through a stroke, because they are there for you for all kinds of reasons. But I think the ones who first came to mind for me were the staff at the in-house rehab section. And I was so impressed with them. In fact, by the end of my time there, my husband and I were calling them the magic makers. You know, they just were outrageous. All the staff the nursing staff were just so thoughtful. And have you taken your nap yet? Do you need another nap? You know, that kind of thing. And just very, very supportive. But I think the ones that really made a difference were the therapists who said, don't worry about what the doctors told you. We're just going to make it all right. We're just going to take our time and it'll be all right. And I really appreciated that, because there had been talk about my not being able to use my arm or be able to walk. And I told my kids and my husband, I'm not willing to be alive if I can't walk. I don't know why I chose that one in particular. But the therapists had such a way about them that they weren't taking no for an answer, essentially. And they wanted me to. And I just jumped right into it. Usually I'm a pretty upbeat person, so I was a little shocked at my response to the stroke. And but I got really into the program when the therapists were so good about saying, this can happen, we're going to find a way for you. And I really, really appreciated that. And I am glad there are these exceptional people who are willing to be in a very difficult profession, who can make such a difference in the world on top of just making us work. And granted, my arm doesn't work yet, and it's been 3.5 years. My leg works okay. I can walk, but it's not very pretty. But it works, and sometimes that's all it takes. So I just am so impressed with the therapists at the rehab, in-house rehab, and outpatient rehab as well. They're close seconds. They also have a fabulous attitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Magic makers.
Yes, they really were.
For me, I have moya moya, so that's the reason why I had my 2 strokes and 28 TIAs, and then I had the brain surgeries. So the serendipity moment that I'd like to share is the fact that when I had to go out to Palo Alto to Stanford Medical Center to get my surgeries, I was coming from Ohio. Didn't know anybody out there. But my district superintendent, she had a brother who lived in Palo Alto, who was only 6 blocks away from the hospital. And so I lived in this beautiful mansion with my own wing and bathroom and TV room and even a treadmill that I could get better. And so I lived there for 4 weeks with no cost. And, just amazing how God put that all together for me. I'm a retired pastor, so you'll have to excuse the faith reference, but yeah, God put it all together for me, and I was just amazed by all of that. And the person that I'm most grateful for is my husband. Stuck by me. He couldn't come out to California with me because he was being called up active duty Iraq at the same time that I was having my surgery. And my youngest daughter was working on her dissertation, and my oldest daughter had just been diagnosed with cancer. And so she was undergoing chemo and radiation, and she couldn't come out with me. So a friend from the church that I serve came out with me, and she indeed helped to save my life. But my husband has been through thick or thin with me, and he loves me when how he can take me out of a shower and wipe me down and everything, and not even, demand anything on his own. He is just a wonderful caregiver and a wonderful man. 29 years.
Wow. Thank you, Beverly.
And I'm co-founder of Brain Exchange, which features a special speaker every month. And Elizabeth was one of them. Thank you, Elizabeth. And I have so much pleasure of that helping other stroke survivors and TBI survivors with that struggles, and many of them have applied for mentorship. Members helping members, and I'm busy with that. So thank you, all the members, and thank you, Oregon. Stroke Awareness Oregon, for letting me speak.
Thank you, Joyce.
I'll go next. I'm grateful for Bruce, my husband. He survived a stroke in 2012. But when I had mine last year, he heard me hit the floor and he called for help. And all he could get out was Linda Bad. And he called his brother and said that. And so he and his wife came over and got me an ambulance and got me to treatment. And I'm so grateful for the care that I received, because I am almost completely recovered from it. And while we were gone in care, his two brothers and his sister and their spouses came over and took care of things, took care of the house plants. One brother-in-law mowed our acre, which has lots of fruit trees to dodge around and under. And his sister took care of our business affairs and just made everything so smooth. And they were wonderful. I couldn't have done without them. And Bruce, now that we're home, and I got to say too, they drove me to appointments when I couldn't drive. So now that we're back to our regular routine of living, Bruce is going to physical therapy, and I go with him. Of course, I have to drive him. And I do the home exercises with him, and he's getting a little stronger, and it's helping me too. I think it's helped my balance. So we just both keep working on it. And I'm so grateful for him, because not only was he there to rescue me, but he is the calmest person I have ever known. And I am a fuss budget, a worrywart, a fidgeter, and he is an example of calmness and kindness that is an inspiration to me. So I am very grateful for all of this.
The one person that I am forever grateful for is my wife. Without her, I wouldn't nearly be as far as I am down the road. She does it effortlessly and with love, and is always there when I need her. I don't tell her nearly enough how much I love her. I think she knows it, but I need to verbalize it a little bit more. She's been by my side for long before I had my stroke, so she knows both the before and the after. And without her, I'd be in a totally different place. I haven't had to have any caregivers because she's been thankful for being by my side forever. My faith in God, I think, has increased. We end our service each day by saying, "Where you are is not an accident." And I didn't really take that to heart until just recently, as I am here to do something for the people around me. And I need to look better at what I can do to help people out. And one of that thing is the stroke support group, and the other is doing this podcast. All of your guys' stories can help other people. And so whenever you can, speak in front of people and tell your side of the story.
Thanks, Drew.
I'd like to reiterate what Drew just said. I could not deal without, I just couldn't have survived without Nick. And he was always there before I had the stroke and gave me unconditional love. And he's there afterwards. The biggest thing I learned was that I always was the caregiver. I took care of my parents. I took care of my kids. And to be absolutely the one who needs the caregiving has been a real lesson for me. I think it's also been an impetus for me to keep pushing myself to do things. And so I guess I'm grateful for that. I am also very grateful for my creative side. That's kept me alive. I've been doing beading, and I never did beading before. And that's been really, really good. And Nick just took over. he retired 2 months after I had my stroke. He does all the grocery shopping. He does all the cooking. I could do some of it. I just don't want to. And I did it for years while teaching school and had 5 kids at home. So he says it's his turn, which is great.
I often look back with gratitude for my stroke because prior to my stroke, I've been an independent, high achieving woman for as far back as I can remember, and prided myself on being independent and achieving every level that I set my goal at. I was a special educator and I got degree upon degree in special education and prided myself on being a what people said I was a good teacher. I'll just say a good teacher. And just that was my identity. And my independence was a part of my identity. And when I had my stroke, that was swept out from under me. And it all disappeared in moments. And being the independent person that I was, and some of you have heard this before, I did not acknowledge my stroke when I had it. It took me about 5 months before my daughter said, something's wrong and you've got to go to a doctor. And then they did the whole scan and found out what had happened. So I was fiercely independent beyond of the point of when I should have been. But looking back now, my stroke, and with the help of a therapist, who I'm very grateful for, has helped me, forced me to redefine myself and to find worth in, to search for worth and to figure out that I've always had worth and that I put it on these other things when really there was a lot of worth that I held internally, and to search for self-esteem inside myself rather than outside from accolades or whatever, and to do something which has been probably the most extraordinarily hard thing for me to do, ask for help. Because I was so fiercely independent, everybody in my family, I think it's even been hard for my kids to recognize or reach out. But this has forced me to, I sometimes need to reach out and ask for help. And that has been a blessing and a curse because I hate doing it, but I can't not do it. And so it's just, and I'm still in the process of going through this. My stroke was, I think, 4 years ago and 4.5. And I'm still in the process of figuring all that out.
Thank you, Deborah. I'm thankful for each of you and for the people who share their stories. And we've all been through a very drastic shift in life and a halt. But the reflections that I hear from each of you on that halt sound like a halt to see life a little bit differently, whether it be I heard empathetic. I'm more empathetic. I'm more involved. Andre, you said I'm taking it in. I'm hearing people's stories. Sometimes we're going too fast through the world to take it in. And I'm thankful for the ways that each of you shared your story on gratitude and ways that your life has shifted. And these are all inspirations, not only for us as stroke survivors, but what if we all went about life with these observations and these perspectives? So thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing, everybody. Thank you for devoting time and space to listen to Part 2. Thanksgiving Special Survivor Reflections. For the full story, please listen to Part 1, Thanksgiving Special Meditation, and Part 3, where we'll hear from Providence Brain and Spine Institute's Life After Stroke community and their reflections for Thanksgiving. Each colorful memory creates a parable for life's greater teachings, a compass for journeys ahead, and inspired wisdom for unique growth. We celebrate Thanksgiving with thanks. If you've enjoyed this moment of pause for storytelling and reflection, please like, share, or subscribe to the Beyond Stillness Stories After Stroke podcast. Again, thanks for listening. And remember, as part of the stroke community, you are more than supportive, you are inspirational. I'm your host, Molly Bucola, and happy Thanksgiving.
If you are part of the stroke community and have a story you'd like to share on the show, please contact us. Email molly@beyondstillness.org.
Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke is made possible by our guests and tax-deductible donations from friends and listeners like you. Join us in empowering stroke survivors with stories of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope at www.beyondstillness.org. Another way to support is to like, share, or subscribe to our weekly show. Again, thank you for devoting time and space for this week's episode of Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke.